All right, welcome to a new Taking the Lead Media podcast, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Oahu, playing local and underground music from here in the islands and the rest of the world. My name is Zenofre, and welcome to episode 96. So, today is another special episode. I have a guest here on the show. He runs local record label GC Records. Gay Kiddo Records, Gay Kiddo Comment. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Shahab Zargari.
Thanks for
Uh,
having me.
he's released some really awesome records, some notable ones from Holding On to Sound, we got Gasoline Kills, also some East Arcadia. I really like those guys.
Yeah, me too.
Are they still active anyhow?
They aren't.
Ah,
They broke up quite a few years ago. I believe it was 2004 or 5.
ah.
But 2 years ago they played a reunion show in Cincinnati, and you better believe I flew out there specifically just because I was like, dude, I have no idea if you're going to do another, you
Right.
know, uh, get together kind of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
flew out there, kind of shot a little bit of it, on video.
Oh,
Nothing
nice.
to write home about, but I had to document it. I had to. They're such amazing, humble guys um, that just make amazing music.
It's very good stuff. Is that the only releases that they have that you guys released?
So we did a 7-inch and a full length.
Right.
They had a unreleased live album
Okay,
uh,
yeah, I saw
that
that too,
that
right?
we put on to the Bandcamp, so you might have gotten that. Um, but there was an EP that came out before we did anything with them, before the 7-inch. But it's funny because it's a lot more polished and a little bit more pop punky than
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean, they were younger and just
Yeah.
trying to, do their own thing, but I mean, still
Yeah.
same like fast tempo, but they hadn't locked in on their sound yet.
Oh, okay, okay. Are they originally from Cincinnati?
Yeah, so Cincinnati's basically on the southern border of Ohio,
Okay.
right across the river from Kentucky. I think it's Lexington, and so a few of the guys lived in Kentucky, a few of the guys lived in Ohio,
Oh,
but it
wow.
was less than an hour for everybody to get to the practice space. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they essentially lived in the same city, but it was considered two different states.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, that's where they originated. That's where they, met each other. A few of the guys don't live there anymore. Actually, Ryan, the guitarist, he had been living in San Francisco for, I don't know, the past 5+ years, probably 10 years or so. And he just moved to Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
So, you know what? You might want to connect with him and
Yeah, see
maybe
what's up,
do a
man.
podcast with him. I don't know, but he's
Yeah.
an interesting character in himself. So,
Oh, wow. That's interesting. All right, cool, man. Well, I want to talk about your newest release, Dirty Little Betties.
Pretty Little Betties. Yeah.
Yes. How'd you hook up with them? Are they on from
S-
Oklahoma?
So they're actually, yeah, they're from Oklahoma City.
Oh.
Um, so, a couple of the band members have known some of the GC crew for a little while, but it was back in January. I took a week-long business trip out to Oklahoma City, not necessarily GC related, but just kind of, checking up on some things and seeing where we could go with video and things of that nature. And we ended up going to a bar and watching the Dirty Little Betties play live. We got drunk and everything was fun, and eventually they got off the stage. Everything was great. They came and sat with us, and they were like, "Yeah, this is kind of these are all the songs from our debut recording." So basically, they've been a band forever, um, but they were content just being the band that kind of jams at parties. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
jam at the party, they jam at the karaoke night or whatever, hanging out. Just that was they were content to do that. Like they weren't looking for record deals, they weren't looking for any of that. they just want to play music, which is really, I mean, that's the kind of bands that we love. You know, you're doing it for the passion, whether it leads to something big or not. This is the way that you get stuff off your chest. This is the way that you know, um, talk to your creative muse. And so I remember we were sitting at the table and I go, "Oh, that's awesome. Is it an EP since it's your first recording?" And he was like, "No, no, it's a full length." And this was Clinton, the singer I'm talking about. He pretty much writes most of the songs, probably more most of the lyrics, especially. And he was like, "No, we got a whole full length." And so after that night, we kind of, you know, talked a little more, and yeah, we helped put out and distribute their debut album,
Backyard Carnival.
Backyard Carnival.
Yeah.
And you know, again, when you look at anything the GC Records has been a part of and touched,
Yeah.
no two bands sound alike.
No, and
You
this
know,
is
like
very different from.
they're very very different. You know, and I mean, I have friends who have labels where they put out indie rock or they put out pop punk. Like
Yeah.
that is their signature. We don't really do that, and I think it's because me and my wife, we don't really fall into that as far as the kinds of music we like. You
Yeah.
know, we like, you know, anything from you know, metal to, you know, indie to, you know, Pet Shop Boys. I mean, you name it.
Right.
There's a whole rainbow of things that we like, especially when we go, you know, record collecting. I mean, it's just, you know, blues. You know, I mean, really whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but when you look at the bands that are on the GC roster, whether they're currently playing shows or, you know, broken up and, you know, we said goodbye to them, you can kind of see that if there was a festival or if there was a, you know, all day show, that the bands wouldn't seem weird playing the same show together. Now, they might not play the
Oh.
same block, you know,
Yeah.
but you could see a Dirty Little Betties with, you know, Introspect and then Lawnmower Death Riders. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
would make a really good, fun show, where maybe even it would bring together all these different people from different, you know, people who like different genres. And that, you know, coming back to holding on to sound, you know, just a disclaimer here: the bassist of holding on to sound is my brother-in-law, and
Oh,
he is
okay.
a big
Right.
part of he's a big part of GC Records. So yes, yes, there's a
Yeah.
bias there, but you know, we started GC Records in California.
Right.
And you know, holding on to sound was based in Vegas, and that's where my wife grew up. And every time we would come to town and we would go to a holding on to sound show, it blew me away. Why? Because in California, you go to a pop punk show, it's all pop punk kids. You go to a metal show, it's all metal kids. You go to a hip hop show, it's all hip hop kids.
Right.
At holding on to sound shows, you could see all of those different scenes hanging out with each other. And that was just so awesome,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
really cool. They can get
So,
along
and
at least.
yeah, exactly. And then so hypothetically, if you would put any of the GC bands together on a roster, it would make for a really good show, a really good festival. So, you know, there's that kind of strings them all together where they wouldn't be so weird, you know, playing a show together.
Right. And that reminds me of that one record you released well, it's just GC 47, number 47,
Mhm.
the 12-inch
Yeah, yeah.
comp. It's like, I mean, and that's all Vegas bands on that one, right?
Right.
Like,
That was our first Vegas snapshot. Yeah.
yeah, that was a really good playlist on that one. Like one
Thank you.
side was all punk, like more heavier
Mhm.
stuff, and then you got the other, which was more eh, everything else, I want to say.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, that was one of my favorite records to come out that one year, and yeah,
Oh,
and that
thank
was
you.
yeah, that was a really nice, I'd say, portrait of the Las Vegas scene, or at least
And
one
it's
part of
funny
it.
because that was 2014. And it's just so amazing to see where those bands are now, what they sound like now. And of the bands that aren't around,
Yeah,
you know, those, you know, 3 or 4 musicians that were in that one band, well, they're not gonna stop playing. So they're
No.
all in their own solo projects or the other bands that are equally as good. And that's, that's another thing. And I know, you kind of have some ties to Vegas, but man, it really, I'm not even born and raised in Vegas. I'm not
Yeah.
from here. And it pisses me off when people say, "Yeah, Vegas has no culture."
No.
Like, what? Just because when you come here, it's a casino. You know what
Right,
I
right.
mean? You come here to gamble. You come here to go to the scandalous nightclub. Just what you do here has nothing to do with whether or not the city has culture.
Yeah, yeah.
From the UNLV College of Fine Arts to the galleries and the theaters downtown. I mean, this, and then to the music scene. I mean, this city is overflowing with culture.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. You just gotta go dig deeper. Just a little bit deeper.
Mhm.
You'll find
Yeah.
something there.
So and again, so when me and my wife first moved to Vegas, this was 2010.
Oh, okay,
Uh,
okay.
no, I'm sorry, 2008, 2008.
2008? Alright.
But it was 10 years since we had started the label.
Yeah,
Almost
so
10 years, right? And so literally I was ready to close up shop. I was like, I'm done.
yeah?
We've spent tens of thousands of dollars for a thankless job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then all bands break up anyway, and then we're stuck with 800 CDs kind of thing. And then it was Zebby, who's the bassist of Holding On to Sound,
Right.
now currently the bassist of Elicitor,
Yeah, yeah.
who hint hint, uh, they just are wrapping up their debut full length that they recorded at 11th Street
Nice.
Records. Keep your eyes peeled for that. It's done and it's amazing. But
Yeah.
he was like, "Listen, man." He goes, "Listen, don't close up shop." He goes, "I get it. You put all this money into it. I get it. When you started the label, you didn't have kids. Now you do." But he was like, every single label that exists in Vegas, it is a Vegas centric label. He goes,
Hmm.
there's not really anything like GC Records, where you guys have worked with bands from San Francisco, Norway, New York,
Yeah.
now Oklahoma, right? So
Yeah.
we kind of, are more on a global scale, if you
Yeah,
will.
yeah, I would say that,
And
yeah.
he's like, that doesn't really exist. You know, people are so focused on maybe pushing that, hey, Vegas has a culture type, flag, that's kind of where they're at. So we're like, all right, fine, let's keep it going. And that was right around the time we started getting Holding On to Sound on the No Effects shows, when No Effects would come to town. Um, and then the label got a second wind.
Right.
And yeah, so 2019 is going to be 20 years. I don't
Oh,
know what we're
nice.
going to do. Maybe we should do a, festival. I mean, I don't know. I'm
That
still
would be
trying to figure
so
that out.
cool.
I
Yeah.
think we got to start planning it now
You
because
do. You have all
20
next
years.
year and this year. About
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
that?
We did
Yeah.
a 15-year anniversary, right when we released GC47. GC47 was part of that celebration, if
Oh,
you
okay.
will.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got to one up ourselves, I guess, for the 20 year.
Right, right. Um yeah, festival, 3-day festival.
I know, I know.
That'll be
I don't
sweet.
know yet.
You're right.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, so when you started the label in 99, or that's when you first released, your first release was in 99,
So
right?
we started working late 98
Like
on getting the
98.
first release out,
Yeah.
and then it released January
And
99.
was it just you and your wife? Because I've
It
seen like there's like a whole crew now. Like
Right.
for like
So
five, six
yeah,
different
I mean, it
people.
it was, we weren't married yet, but it
Mm.
was the two of us. And of course, the few folks from Introspect, the few folks from ESL, the guys from, and by the way, this
Oh
is a
yeah.
little history lesson for people who might not know or have delved too deep. So the guys, the
Nice.
the lead guitarist, lead singer from ESL,
Yeah.
ended up forming Vlad and the Impalers.
That's such a cool name. That's like
Ended up
Really badass band
Great
name.
gasoline pills. So
Oh,
Dave
okay.
Lingenfelter has been with us from the beginning till now. Like super cool, amazing guy. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, so a couple of the dudes from ESL, people from Introspect, me and my wife, it was a loose knit. I mean, really, we were just releasing our own records of
Yeah.
ours and our friends because no one else was gonna. Sony wasn't gonna do it. Epitaph sure as hell wasn't gonna do it. Um, we started just putting it out ourselves. We didn't
Yeah.
really have a goal in mind. I mean, dude, 20 years, didn't even think about it.
Yeah. And that's awesome that you've kept shop open, up until now. It's like, okay. And yeah, how many records to date since then?
So we've had, and starting with GC47, which is that
Yeah.
record, started to do our catalogs because what we used to do in the beginning was CDs would have their own, so it would be GCCD2, GCCD3.
I
Vinyl
see.
would be GCV2, GCV3. And then with 47, I was like, we've done so many things. We've done books, we've done USBs, we've done, I
Yeah.
was like, I think now it's time to just combine it. So we're like, all right, well, this will be the 47th release. So now Backyard Carnival is the 57th.
Nice.
Coming up, we've got a Jesse Pino EP, which will be our 58th. And then
I really like that
Elicitor.
guy, Jesse Pino. Nice
He's
stuff.
amazing.
Yeah.
He's
Local guy.
always super busy. Local Las Vegas
Yeah.
dude. He was in a couple bands, and now he's started to refine his sound. And I mean, super proud of him. Super proud of him and his mom. Actually, run together with a few other owners a Taekwondo dojo in town.
Really?
So he does stuff as a way to get stuff off his chest. But
Yeah.
I hope he does world tours with it because he deserves it.
Yeah.
Him and his band, his crew. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, Gladys Knight and the, so it's just,
okay.
and the Vital Signs. So like, I mean, they're all really great musicians, but he's a good guy.
Nice.
So Jesse Pino and Elicitor kind of on the horizon. But yeah, so 57. It's not 100,000 different things, but I think it's a pretty good collection.
Oh yeah, yes. Wow. Yeah, that's quite the catalog for GC. Nice. So, let's play one track then. From the Dirty Little Betties. They got a track on here called Hilo.
It's actually Hilo.
Hilo. Oh,
it's based on one of the Oklahoma City bars. That's crazy. I've been to the Hilo.
Yeah.
Anybody from the Hilo listening to this? You guys are crazy. No, it's fun. It's a fun little spot.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna ask. Oh, is that because that's the Big Island here? Hilo. It's the exact same spelling.
Is it spelled? Oh, that's crazy.
The Hilo. Right on. So Lounge Singer. Okay, so this is the Dirty Little Betties off of Backyard Carnival, Lounge Singer.
Supper club, she was lounge singing, I was hooting all night long at your candy apple lips, bright blue eyes, couldn't help my hips, but swing along the upright player at all four walls like a drunken dog, that move along, dancing to the rhythm, boom, 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 ba, 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 ba. Supper club, she was lounge singing, I was hooting hollering all night long at your candy apple lips, your bright blue eyes, couldn't help my hips, swing along the upright player at all four walls like a drunken dog, and move along, dancing to the rhythm.
Okay, yeah. So that was Lounge Singer, Dirty Little Betties. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, great bunch of guys, and I think there's a few favorites that I have, but that's one of my favorites on the album. I also love the song "Sweet Tea." It's
Yes, that track is
weird.
awesome.
It's a strange track about, and I don't know if it's fictional or real because Clinton is kind of a crazy guy himself, but it's about being David Bowie's son, and I don't know if that means illegitimate or what, but that Daddy loves Mama's sweet tea.
Oh wow. So it's
Yeah.
fictional story. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I like little tidbits like that. Or like finding out like this song is just totally like what well one example is Incubus. I
Mhm.
think it's a science album. My one of my old roommates from college said that, do you know the track Certain Shade of Green on that
Yeah.
album? He said that's a song about waiting at the stoplight.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Did that just blow your mind?
That that changes everything.
Like I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, if you listen to it, he's just like waiting for it to turn green.
That's crazy.
Oh, he's at a stoplight. It's red. Okay. Wow. That, I would have never known. But thank you for that. I got a question. So for Kill the Scientist,
Mhm.
is that you or is that someone else?
That is me.
That
Good
is-
detective work.
Because then on the discography you have a record on there that you've done. It says you with all the remixes, all that electronic
Oh,
music.
yeah. That's my anthology.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, is that so that kind of clued you in
Like
some of the
yeah, because in the Kill the Scientist, and then you hear that stuff, and I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting all of that. But really interesting stuff on there.
Yeah,
uh,
I'm a weirdo, and and that's kind of why I had to start GC Records because no one was gonna release the weird stuff that I'm into. You know what I mean? Like I listened to a bunch of experimental Japanese stuff, and
right.
it's just, like I'm into the skinny puppies and the. Have you ever heard of the German band Einstürzende Neubauten?
No, never heard
Okay.
of that.
Look them up.
Oh, will do.
They are a direct. So Newboughton and Men's Recovery Project, two very strange bands, if you will, who pushed boundaries. Newboughton, they would bring in pipes and shopping carts and use them to make noises,
No way.
tape loops. Dude, just some crazy. And when they played live, there was a performance art aspect to it, and Kill the Scientist was that.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll have to send you a link to we played a show in the year 2000, and it was
Yeah.
masks and oil drums and sanders and
No way.
a scientist we chased around, and then a guy in a monkey mask on drums, and then I had one of those gimp sex masks on, like just crazy.
Performance art / music. Nice.
Exactly. And so that's why with the anthology,
Yeah.
I picked a little bit of everything, a little bit of the electronic, a little bit of the Kill the Scientist stuff,
Right.
the whole well-rounded, like, you know what, you guys probably have no idea Shahab has been making music, but this is 16 years of music that he's been making.
Yeah, right.
Enjoy.
Right. All right. Let's get into. So we just played a track from your most current release. Let's get into your very first release now. Introspect 5, right?
No.
Oh.
The 5 is there. Is the 5? The 5 is replacing the S, and this was a hard thing to explain to people too. But because everything Introspect is about is mixing, real vocals, real guitars with, synthesizers and drum machines and real drummer, stuff of that nature. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like a hacker, like how a hacker might or might not write the word, with a 5 instead of an S kind of thing.
Oh,
Late 90s
yes.
kind of band name kind of. So yeah, so it's just introspect, but which is not in itself is not a word either, but
Yeah.
introspective, or introspection is, but yeah.
Oh.
So introspect. So Dave, who ended up going on to recording a lot of the GC releases in those early days, but also introspect ended up touring with Leftover Crack and signing to Anti-Flag's label AF Records. Really, really pretty proud of these guys. So the song which you have there's Education. This is the original 7-inch recording of it.
Yes.
If you go to AF Records Bandcamp, you can actually find the Introspect full length. Listen to Education on there after listening to it here. It's night and day. I mean, this 7-inch version is basically Dave as a one-man band.
Oh, wow.
And then on the album, it's a full band doing the song.
Oh, wow, interesting. Okay, so he had to record each one, obviously, separately, right? And just play over?
Everything separately, and it was just a drum machine as opposed to, a drummer.
Oh, wow. All right, so yes, Introspect. The track is Education. It's first release for GC Records. Here it is.
Capacity for learning and a daily course of life. The learning comes so quick, we have no time to choose. Our own set of standards and our own set of rules. So we learn, and we learn young. And no one thinks are hard if you turn and run. We learn, and we learn young. And no one thinks that you understand and you can't. I'm the one that does the rockin', I'm the one that does the rockin', I'm the one that does the rockin', I'm the one that does the rockin'. So all along the city streets, don't get to walk alone. And in the dirty alleyways, don't get to walk alone. And I admit I've never lived the life that you must know. But violence, godlessness, won't take your broken home. Your home. Your home. We determine what we think based on what we're shown. The lack of education leaves the world unknown. So all we have to go on is the world that we see. A world based on violence and a world based on greed. So we learn, and we learn young. And no one thinks are hard if you turn and run. We learn, and we learn young. And no one thinks that you understand and you can't. I'm the one that does the rockin', I'm the one that does the rockin', I'm the one that does the rockin', I'm the one that does the rockin'. So all along the city streets, don't get to walk alone. And in the dirty alleyways, don't get to walk alone. And I admit I've never lived the life that you must know. But violence, godlessness, won't take your broken home. Your home. Your home.
ask you about all the compilations you've released through GC
Okay.
Records. Like, I've seen like other indie labels, and that'll be like the main thing that they'll do. Like they'd have a series and just keep releasing those. And at one point, like I want to say like in the early to mid 2000s, it just seemed like all
Everyone was doing.
everyone was doing it, but then everyone also had all the same tracks on it.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of Thrice.
Actually, talking about Thrice, they were supposed to be on You Call This Music Volume 1.
No way. Can I guess the
And
track? No.
no, there was no track. So I never
Was it-
really got it. So they played this local California venue called Chain Reaction, and my buddy had booked the show, and they were nobodies. At the time, they were nobodies. Right?
Wow.
And my buddy was like, "Hey, I booked this band. Like, could they possibly go on You Call This Music?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, like already it was at like 40 tracks."
Yeah, it's 40 tracks, right?
You know, I'm like, So then I'm like, well, just have them, send me whatever they've got. And then they got on stage, and I don't know if it was just a mediocre performance or, again, they hadn't quite found their sound yet.
Yeah.
And I was not impressed at all.
Really? Yeah. Early Thrice.
Yeah, so I didn't. Not that it was bad. It wasn't
Yeah.
bad in any way, shape, or form. But we already had 40 tracks. I probably had to cut a couple, and it didn't move me. So I didn't push it. I was just like, yeah, man, if they want to do it, have them send me the track. And then I guess they didn't care.
Right.
So yeah, so it never happened.
Oh, wow. It's interesting. And that's before, I'm guessing, Identity Crisis.
It was before anything they did on Hopeless or any.
Wow. Well,
they were
to be
not
honest,
signed.
right. But to be honest, I'm not. I got into the Thrice game like late. Like I think they just released Artist in the Ambulance, and by the time I picked that one up, they released, I think it's called Vesuvio, that fourth record.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So they weren't like heavy anymore. So like not it wasn't their second
different.
album, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you know what's funny though? Like with those compilations, like I never thought about it. We always just kind of, GC Records has always been about working on different projects.
Yeah.
We weren't, I don't know. We're an independent label, a bedroom label, what have you. We don't really carry ourselves like an Epitaph or like a, Geffen or Sony or Capitol kind of thing. And so, we, every time we worked on something, we're like, all right, well, what are, as far as me and my wife, what are we willing to pay for? What are bands willing to do? And yeah, in the early 2000s, everyone and their mother was doing a compilation. And so we wanted to do one, but we wanted it to feel more like punk rock radio and not like, hey guys, this is, you know what I mean? Like this is a promotional tool.
Yeah.
So we did We're Not Generation X, and that we were stoked because we got Winston Smith, who did all of the Dead Kennedys covers. He did the cover art for that, so we were so stoked. It was kind of shitty. A lot of the bands we had access to were just DIY and recording stuff in their bedrooms and all that. Then we did You Call This Music Volume 1.
Right.
And Volume 1 of it was just supposed to be a joke, It was basically making fun of the, I don't know if you've probably seen, if you're alive, you've seen the Now I Call This Music compilations, right? Okay.
Those
I think
were amazing.
Before they ended, it was like, Now I Call This Music 47 or whatever.
Right.
So we were like, yeah, You Call This Music ? Volume 1,
Right.
So that's kind of what we did, and I got my mom and dad to do the intro and outro tracks, and
awesome.
but then like that was literally the first thing that we put out that sold out.
Really?
And we had to repress it.
Oh wow.
That had never happened before. So then we did You Call This Music 2, and then we did the fundraisers, what was it? The This Just In, and then the Dropping Food. And then even when we did our 10-year anniversary project, which was the Chemical X DVD, that wasn't just all GC stuff either. That was basically another compilation, but it was video instead. So yeah,
Nice.
one of my buddies was like, it seems like you're really good at curating these group projects. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I never thought of it that way, because we did do EPs and we did do full lengths and things of that nature. So I never really thought about it, but I was like, shit, I think you're right.
Because I remember ordering something from you like in maybe like 2010, 2011, and
It might have
the
been a whole sound something actually.
yeah, and you gave me extra stuff, like, and it was a bunch of comps, and one of them was You Call This Music, Volume One.
Uh-huh.
Like, all right, and I was only familiar with a few bands on it, but one of the more exclusive tracks I thought, but this was already years after it was first released, was the Tsunami Bomb track that closed it.
Right. So
Obligation.
that track had been previously released, but not that recording of it.
Oh, okay. So this is a different recording, or
It's a different recording, and it was when they still had the girl on piano so they're now back together, I guess, and
right.
so she's back on piano, but they had
or I don't know
yeah.
okay.
Yes, or something. Anyway, so she, kind of said goodbye to the band for a little while.
Right.
And that was the last recording they did with her, and they recorded it specifically for the comp. They're like, look, it's not a new song, but this recording doesn't exist anywhere.
Really? Wow. That's an exclusive track. Everyone needs to get on it now.
Yeah, You Call This Music. We only have, I don't know, a couple hundred left, and then I'm just gonna say, that's it.
That's
no more represses for that one.
Oh wow, that's interesting. Because then they re-released old rare recordings, and their Invasion from Within EP as one album, and then that's where all like their old like I've been trying to search for all the recordings from before, and then that's when they finally released it officially. Like you'd have to like pay $100 or something for like their original record. But then I was like, all right, that's amazing. That I mean, yeah, the rarity of that track and exclusive to that compilation. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Have you met all the bands on this comp? Like, have you met like every single one?
Most of them, no.
Oh,
okay. So we're talking about You Call This Music Volume 1, right?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this track list. Okay, so Planet Trash, Never. They're in Sweden. 22. I don't even think these guys are a band anymore.
Yeah.
Canada.
Because that was the other band that I was familiar with. 22. I was like, oh, sick.
They were like a emo hardcore band from Canada.
Yeah.
Voids. Definitely met a bunch of those kids. They were from like the Fullerton, Whittier area. The Grand Prix, never met them, but really cool guys. Falling Sickness, did a few shows with those guys. John Cougar Concentration Camp, met him a couple times. GBA, Friends Band, Litmus Green, saw him a shit ton of times. ESL, obviously. So, I mean, I think it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's definitely a mix.
Zero Content, we did. Backside, I mean, they lived in California.
Yeah, Useless ID on here, too.
Yeah, and really also way early on, like they weren't not nobodies, you know what I mean? Like they weren't they had made a name for themselves by this point, because this was the year 2000.
Yes,
but it was years before they would do anything with Fat Records. So
oh wow, yeah, that's right. That's crazy.
And then Ancient Chinese Secret, never met them, but that was the dude from Spaz. And his wife kind of doing that. No Erasers Allowed, that was secret. That was me and my wife. Nice. Which was actually, that song is called Hitler in the Toy Store, and it's actually based on a true story. Really? So at Caesar's Palace, there used to be an FAO Schwartz toy store, and they've taken it out. I think they've made it into a 2-story H&M at this point, or 3-story, whatever. But it was huge. It was a huge toy store, and on the 3rd level, they had a life-size Darth Vader, and you could push buttons and make him talk. So obviously, being a Star Wars fan, I was there. I think it was probably 1999 or something. So we're there, and I'm kind of like, this is so awesome. And then see this little kid running up, and he's saying something in a different language, and it was so cute because he noticed Darth Vader and everything. And then all of a sudden, we could hear the grandfather yelling at the kid in this other language, which turned out to be German. And I mean, the yelling, it was scary. He's probably just saying, "Don't run," right? But he's like, "Come back, come back," and it was like, what the hell? I turned around, and this old grandpa is walking toward this kid, hand raised, and he literally had a Hitler mustache. Like literally had a hit.
Dude.
And so I grabbed Hila and I go, "Listen, we are not white. We need to go. We need to go." So we start running, and she's like, "What the fuck? Like, what is wrong with you?" Right? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I overreacted, but I was scared for our lives. This Hitler was yelling, and he had the mustache. Like what?
Right. Oh my God.
So we were like, all right, well, what are we gonna do? We're gonna write a song called Hitler in the Toy Store. So now if you go back and listen to it, the lyrics are gonna make you cry. Like I know people were like, "What the hell is this song?" There's a line that goes, "It's not right. He's gonna get us because we're not white," or something so stupid. But so when you see Hitler, what are you gonna do? You're gonna run, dude. It's so funny.
Oh my
so
okay.
Funny.
That's gonna blow my mind on the second listen.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so let's get to that track. So this is you and your wife duo. Who's playing what on this one?
So I'm on drums, she's singing, and then we've got Dave and Jeff from ESL on guitar and bass.
Oh, nice. It's like
just got together one day and went into a little studio, recorded it, and that was it.
Would you? I would consider this a super group of sorts.
Yeah, sort of. Although we didn't consider it that at the time. We were just like, dude, we gotta record this song about Hitler.
Right on. Okay, cool, man. So this is No Erasers Allowed. The track is Hitler in the Toy Store off of You Call This Music Volume 1.
Make sure to run when you sing. Hitler Toy Store, Hitler Toy Store, Hitler Toy Store, run, 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 Hitler Toy Store, run.
So let's get into most sold copies of a GC record. That would be the Enemy U.
Enemy U, we've had a couple, and I think they're all along the same level. Like I said, You Call This Music, the first one sold out, in less than a month, and we were just like, what the hell? And then the Toys That Kill Fleshy's picture disc that we did, that one, people ate it up because it was literally the only picture disc we did. The Enemy U 7-inch, that one, I mean, sold out pretty quickly. And we just did a repress.
Oh, nice,
That's
nice.
kind of why you were asking me about that. I was like, yeah, I think I'd like to talk about the NMEU one. So for those of you who didn't follow the band, it was a band that they'd released stuff on Lookout. They were on a Adeline Records compilation.
I believe I
They
saw a
did
Red
it.
Scare. You're on a Red Scare.
They were on Red Scare. They did a 7-inch with Fat Records. And in 2015, the lead singer committed suicide. And it was a pretty big blow to the punk community, specifically the pop punk community. I remember Fat Records did a really nice like social media post when it happened. And we were all shocked and let the dust settle.
Yeah.
About a year later, I texted Ken, who was the guitarist, and he's currently the guitarist of Western Addiction.
Oh, okay.
And he was on tour, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, is it cool if I repress this 7-inch and we do it as a fundraiser for the Suicide Lifeline prevention? That phone number, that anyone can call if you have any kind of suicidal thoughts. You can call them and talk to them at any point in the day." And I was like, look, because when you put out a 7-inch, you don't necessarily have to do 1,000. You could do 300, you could do 500, but the labels and the covers have to be done in quantities of 1,000 or more, or it's just not worth it to the printing company.
Yeah.
So we got 1,000 labels printed, 1,000 covers, but we only pressed 500 lime green 7-inches. And so those are sold out. And then Ken wrote back, and I was like, yeah, dude, like I have 500 covers and 500 labels just sitting in my garage. They've been sitting there since 2003. It's 2016. Is it cool? And he goes, you know what? If you do it for that purpose and do it in, David's memory, yeah, I'm on board. So we got the green light, started the process. And we recently came out with it, and we didn't want to do the same color. So instead of lime green, we did Coke bottle green.
Oh, nice.
So that's, currently for sale now. If anybody's listening out there, would definitely appreciate it. All of the profits from every sale go to the Suicide Lifeline prevention. But one of my favorite things about this record, when I was a kid, I was really big into Saturday morning cartoons. I loved it. Two of my favorites, one of them was the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, where they would get into this roller coaster ride and then all of a sudden end up in this other world. Totally loved it.
Did not.
And then there was
no.
Yeah, it was literally called Dungeons and Dragons. There was another one called Kid Video. And this was weird also. It was kind of like this band, and they're getting together. This is in the theme song. It almost looks like the opening of a sitcom. Like you see these live action kids hopping in a truck, like getting ready to have a band practice. They got a cute girl drummer.
And they turn into a cartoon?
And then they get sucked into their mirror or something stupid. And they go to this other world where Master Blaster was looking for them. And, it was pretty cool. But the theme song was very, very catchy. And so, me and my wife had caught up with NMEU. They were playing in Southern California. And, I was like, guys, like, I really love what you did with Panic Button. I love the full length. Let's work together. I want to do something. And David was like, oh, well, I've got this idea. I want to do some covers. I want to do some unreleased songs. But one of the covers is the theme song from Kid Video. And I was like, oh, man, we've definitely got to do it. So, yeah. So still to this day, one of my favorite NMEU songs. Not necessarily because it was on a GC release, but I mean, so cool that we had that connection.
Right.
And yeah, so once you hear it, definitely look up on YouTube Kid Video theme song and kind of compare the two. The Enemy U version is better, but it's my opinion.
Right. Okay. Well, let's get to a track then from that 7-inch. This is Enemy U, Video to Radio.
Keeps it going, keeps it moving on. Got my system, I'm playing on and on. They say I'm crazy, I'm always on my own. Advice around me, and this just turns me on. From my video to my radio. Keeps it rocking, keeps it moving on. It's always there for me when I'm about to blow. The only thing I need, the only way to go. From my video to my radio.
So let's get to the last track of the show, which is
Cool.
East Arcadia, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their album We Only See From Where We Stand. This is really good album. I really like this one.
It's amazing. So before we get into it, let me give a little backstory. So generally speaking, at GC, we don't just sign a band just because we got the demo. It never really worked out that way. We don't have enough money to do that. We don't even have enough money to put out records from all of our friends, let alone a random demo that comes in.
Yeah.
But they sent me a demo, which coincidentally later turned into their GC vinyl 7-inch.
Okay. Yeah.
And I would listen to it over and over again. It was so weird. It was like I normally don't do that. And one month we were visiting Gila's parents in Vegas, and we're driving around listening to it, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna hit them up, and I think I'm gonna say, listen, you've already got the recording, you've already paid for it. How about me and my wife pay for the vinyl? And we'll do photocopy covers and just kind of, see where it goes from there. And they were down. They were totally down to do it. And seriously, like, that recording is still one of my favorites. And then, they were like, well, we're gearing up to do a full length. And they ended up driving to Chicago and recording with Mike at Atlas Studios. Or I'm sorry, Matt Allison at Atlas Studios, who at that point in time hadn't really recorded too much. But since then, I mean, he's recorded Methadones, Lawrence Arms, Alkaline Trio, Copyrights, and the list goes on and on. And at the time, he hadn't really, made a name for himself, so they just snuck in and did it. It was a bit of a departure from the 7-inch recording in that, the 7-inch recording, the vocals were a little bit buried within the music, a little bit rawer, is that a word? A little bit more raw, right? Raw, right? So a little bit more raw, whereas the Matt Allison recording, the vocals were crisp and crystal clear, right? So some people didn't like that. They would much rather prefer a DIY punk rock feel. But I think it was a good move because it really fit the album. And yeah, the track that I kind of handpicked for you, it's one of the shorter tracks on the album. And it actually comes after. So there's a song called Looking Back.
Right.
And there's a song called Looking Forward. And they're very much related. And one is kind of like, almost like you got to know your history in order for you to learn from it kind of thing, but also don't dwell too long back there. And then Looking Forward is exactly that. Like, just focus on your goals.
Right.
Like, keep looking forward. And you know, this was the 10th CD full length that we put out. It's still one of my favorite albums we ever did. And if I listen to the album, I don't fast forward anything.
Right.
I listen
Oh,
to it
okay.
way through. But as far as all the songs, this one has the most positive message, and it's my absolute favorite.
Nice. Yeah. I think music generally should be positive.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, sometimes we live in a negative world, and you got to
Yeah.
bring that up too. Again, kind of like the looking back, like you got to know your history.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. All right. So this is East Arcadia with the track "Looking Forward" off of "We Only See From Where We Stand."
Hold on. This
Yeah.
is the last track. We're going out.
Yes.
I'm gonna make a request.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Play Looking Back and then play Looking Forward.
And then "Looking Forward." All right. Ooh, you got a two tracks.
You know what I mean? They go together. They
Yeah.
go together. I know Looking Forward's my favorite track, but you got to play them. Play them as if it's the same song.
Oh, okay.
Screw
Okay.
it.
Right. Looking back, looking forward. From the album "We Only See From Where We Stand," East Arcadia.
Did you ever want this? Did you ever want more? Did you want somebody to tell you what your life is for? The good, the bad, the facts of life were all opinions to me. If I had all that could eat, I'd still be starving. Nothing to value. You are sharing with me. While I return the respect, like it only be what is made. What I had, I wish, stop chasing down, so I can see what's for me now. Memories often long in the past, but I'm patient to be found. And I can't help but get winning. Seems it's time to stand my own 2 feet. When it's time to give up my insecure body, being idle, reach for something more. Stop wasting time, stop being so goddamn mature. So when the fuck will I just start?
Okay, yeah. That's it for this show. Hope you enjoyed all the tracks. You can find all these songs, well, most of them, aside from the introspect, I'm guessing. Oh, no, you can check that out on AF Records, right?
You can check the new version,
New
or
version.
no, it's not even new anymore, but the studio version, not the 7-inch version, at AF Records. We do have about 50 of those introspect 7 inches left. The lead singer found a box of them in his closet. So gcrecords.com, we do have a few of those left if you absolutely loved it. Once those are gone, that's it. The first
It.
release that we released 18 years ago be out of print again. That's it. Yeah, but otherwise, yeah. Bandcamp. I mean, you can find us pretty much anywhere. As long as you look up GC Records. It's funny because when you look up the hashtag GC Records, there's a few musicians in South America that have kind of taken up that hashtag, which is interesting. So we've kind of started using the Geikido Comet Records.
Nice.
But yeah, definitely appreciate it. Send us a line. We'd love to chat with you. And if you end up buying something, definitely use the hashtag Geikido Comet Records so we can share the shit out of it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, check them out, gcrecords.com. I'd like to thank my guest, Shahab, my friend. We are officially
Aw.
friends.
Yay! And thank you, man. Like you literally, for the listeners out there, yes, he's got a badass podcast, but he has been a GC record supporter for years, and we appreciate it, man. We definitely do.
I think the first record I bought from you guys was the Neckties Make Me Nervous.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I think I was looking up Portland bands.
Looping back around, they're from Oregon. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, and
You went to school there, so that's wow.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, yeah, that's our ties right there. Right on, right on.
Cool. Well, yeah, no, thank you for having me. It was definitely a pleasure, and can't wait to hear it when it goes live.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Thank you. Yeah, awesome bands, awesome label. Cool. All right, that is it for this show. Please check me out on Twitter, TTLM Podcast. Check out the podcast on iTunes. Check out the website, takingtheleadmedia.com. My name is Nofre, and I'll be signing off until the next Taking the Lead Media podcast. Thanks for listening.
Squeeze and taking me, your broken love. So much I can't control it. I try and to